Hello students, welcome to the data modules section of our NFL Data Analytics Dashboard series. So in this section, we are going to prepare the data. Now we are going to add some data points as well, because for us to be able to create this dashboard, we are going to need to add the conference and we are going to need to add the divisions. Remember, we just created the wonderful Tom Brady dashboard where we analyze the touchdown behavior of the different teams in the NFL. Now you notice that I did not actually have the names of the teams. You see that Cleveland Browns shows CLE. You know, the Cowboys, I'm seeing DAL. Now this is okay if the consumer of the dashboard already knows the names of the teams. But what if someone does not know the names of the teams, right? They might have a hard time knowing that the Lions belong to Detroit, okay? So it is your job as a Cognos developer to be able to add more data points to your data module so that your users can always have a better experience when they create reports and dashboards. So that is what we are going to do in this section. This is the data module. This is what it's going to look like when we are completed. And we are not going to write any code, guys. So those of you who do not like to write code, you are in for a treat, because we are going to be able to create the conference, the division, and also add the NFL team names without writing any code. The reason we are doing this is because we didn't have the division, the conference, and the team names when we created the Tom Brady dashboard using the uploaded file. You see, this is what the uploaded file looks like. I would like to organize it better so that when we are creating our dashboard, when we are creating this dashboard, we are going to have a better experience, because we are going to be using the new data module that we are going to be creating. You see that the model looks much more better, it looks more polite, and it is going to be a lot of fun to be using it because we are going to be creating a lot of other dashboards. Okay, so strap yourselves in. This is not going to take very long. We are going to first create this data module, and then we are going to go ahead and create this dashboard. All right, so to begin, let's go and look for the uploaded file. Remember when we created the Tom Brady dashboard, we used an uploaded file, but now we are going to convert this uploaded file into a data module. Remember, your job as a Cognos developer is similar to someone who works at a restaurant, right? It's similar to the waiter or the waitress. You see, the waitress goes and takes the order from the client, and then the waitress goes to the kitchen, and then they have someone prepare the food, and then the waitress takes the food back to the client. Now, what we are doing here is we are going to do the job of the cook, right? As a Cognos developer, if you know how to prepare the data as well, you become even more powerful, and you can become a very, very well-paid contractor, which is the goal, right? If you're a waitress and you also know how to cook, it makes you very powerful because you don't have to depend on anyone, right? Because if someone orders a well-done steak and you go to the kitchen and you don't know the difference between a well-done steak and a medium rare, and you serve a medium rare steak, the client is going to be angry at you. They are not going to be angry at the cook. They are going to be angry at you, and you're going to have a rough time explaining it to your manager. So it is always a good idea for you to be able to know how to prepare the food. As a Cognos developer, if you know how to prepare the data, you are very, very powerful. For me, I prefer to actually order the food myself, because not only do I know how to serve the food, I know how to cook the food, and I know how to order the food, right? So if I'm going to cook steak, I actually know the best producers of the steak. I prefer to actually go and buy it myself. That's the type of person that I am, because I want to control my own destiny. That is why I have my own company, and that is why I am able to enjoy the advantages. So as my student, I'm going to always prepare you to be the best, and this is one of the skills that you are supposed to have, all right? So let's navigate over to where we stored our uploaded file. In my case, I created an uploads folder. Remember, I told you guys, organize all your work into folders. So I'm going to go over to the uploads, and I'm going to look for the uploaded file. Remember, 2018 NFL play-by-play data, SLX. If you have skipped any of the steps, you are going to have a rough time. So make sure that you watch all the sections before you get to this section. All right, so to create our data module, we are going to click the three ellipses, and we are going to click Create Data Module. Now open the tray so that you see the Excel file. This is the uploaded file. You see, Cognos automatically places it here, and this is where we are going to be preparing and seasoning the data. All right. Now we are using the latest version of Cognos Analytics, so you are going to see some new functionality. So don't be surprised if things look a bit different, right? It is slightly different. Cognos has added a coat of paint. I like to say that, but they've added some functionality to the latest version, 11.1 release 2. So as of June 25th, this is the latest version. Okay, so first, let's take a look at what we have. Let's save the data module. So because I already have mine created, I'm going to save mine, giving it a slightly different name. Call it whatever you wish and place it in your data modules folder. In my case, I called mine 2018 NFL play-by-play coglitics-data module. So call it something that you are going to remember. In your case, I think it might be a good idea just to call yours just like mine. This way, when we start creating dashboards using this data module, you do not get confused. I'm placing an X here so that it does not override my current data module. So don't put the X, guys. Don't put the X. Just call it 2018 NFL play-by-play. Again, I'm putting the X on there so that I do not overwrite my data module. So I'm going to click Save, and then what we are going to do next is we are going to start arranging the data module. All right, we are going to arrange things so that it makes more sense. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to put all of the time, all the attributes that have the time on it, we are going to place them next to each other. So let's see, let's start with the season year. I'm going to drag it up a little bit, and let's go ahead and put it in the validation mode, because if you are in the grid mode, it takes forever to get things done. So I want the season year to be first, followed by the game date, followed by the quarter, minute, and then second. This is fine. Now click on the 2018 NFL play-by-play, click the three ellipses and create a folder. In this folder, we are going to call it metrics, because all our metrics, all the columns that we can do calculations on, I want to put them all in a folder. Okay, this is very good so that it is easier for us to find those metrics. So Control select all of these metrics and move them to the metrics folder. All right, so you see now we can close the metrics and everything is smaller. All right, so let's season our data a little bit. To go is currently being categorized as a measure, but I don't want to make it a measure. I don't think it makes any sense. To go, if you know football, you know that to go is if you are 3rd and 5, right? 3rd and 5, you have 5 more yards to go to get a first down. So if you're not an American or you're not into football, just take my word for it that we don't really have to make it a measure, and we never really have to count it. So let's turn the aggregate off, and let's do the same to the yard line. Let's turn it to attribute. And this is sort of like adding salt to the food. You don't really have to add salt or pepper, but it just makes things, it just makes the food taste better if you do this. So we are just going to season it so that if you drag it onto the screen, when you create a dashboard, Cognos might start adding it and it might think that you want to do a total. That is why we don't want Cognos to do that. We want Cognos not to treat this as a measure. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what we have. I'm going to keep the offense team at the top. I'm going to keep the defense next. I'm going to keep formation. That is fine. Play type, pass type, rush direction, the down, series first down, description, yard line, penalty team, penalty type, to go yard line. Okay, yeah, this looks good. I like how everything is arranged. So save your work, and then let's start the fun part. Remember, I told you this is what we are going to do next. We are going to be adding the conference. I want to be able to know which teams are in the AFC and which teams are in the NFC. And also, I want to place the teams in the different divisions. You see, when I click on AFC East, it shows me all the teams in the AFC East, right? In our Tom Brady dashboard, we couldn't do that. We remember in our Tom Brady dashboard, we couldn't even see the Patriots. We only saw New England, right? But for us to be able to prepare and create this beautiful dashboard, and for us to be able to create, for us to just be able to perform deeper analytics on our data, we need to be able to add these new data points. So we are going to be adding 3 new data points to our data module, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to be writing any code. Okay, so first I want you to click the 3 ellipses on the offense team and click create data group. I want you to call this data group conference, because we are going to create the conference first. Now, this is the interface you use to create categories. all we are doing is creating a conference category, right? We want to be able to pull conference onto our dashboard and look at our data in the context of conference, right? Because someone might say, you know what, Kwame, I don't really care about looking at my teams in the context of Arizona or ATL or Baltimore. I want to be able to analyze my data so that I can compare AFC and then NFC. That is why we are doing this. We want the business to be able to perform this type of analysis. All right, so we need to create two groups. The groups are AFC and NFC. Okay, so you click on new group and you type AFC. Click on new group again and type NFC. Okay, so we are going to first add all of the AFC teams, and then we are going to add all of the NFC teams. That's it. And then for the remaining, if there are any other teams that don't fall in AFC or NFC, we are just going to put delete in there because we are going to remove it. For some reason, sometimes you are going to get dirty data, and it is your job as the Cognos developer to do what? To clean the data. So in this case, there was some data that was remaining, and I just want to put delete there so that in the future I can remove any rows that make no sense. All right, and then this icon allows us to replace the offense team. If you really wanted to replace this offense team with this new category conference, then you can click this checkbox, but we don't want that. We want to actually create a whole new conference or attribute or category. All right, so for us to first add our AFC teams, we are going to first we are going to select and add all of the AFC teams to this list. Okay, so the AFC teams, we are going to start with Cincinnati, the Bengals. So we are going to look for CIN. All right, you see that if I click on NFC, there's nothing in the NFC list, but when I click on AFC, I've added Cincinnati, and we are going to add 16 teams. So next is Buffalo, next is Denver, Cleveland, LAC for the Los Angeles Chargers. They did pretty well last year, but then they got crushed by the great Patriots. Kansas City Chiefs, they also learned a lesson from the Patriots. And then Indiana, where is Indiana? Indiana. Miami, I like Miami, the Miami Dolphins. Jacksonville Jaguars, Jimmy Smith and Mark Brunell. Some of you will not know what I'm talking about, but the old school people know who I'm talking about. I was a Jacksonville Jaguar for a very long time. Okay, so the New York Jets, 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 Gary Vaynerchuk's favorite team. Next is the New England Patriots. Where is NE? The great New England Patriots, the great Tom Brady. Oakland Raiders. Goodness, they didn't do so well last year. Baltimore. Again, Baltimore also learned a lesson as well during the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, we know what happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to leave it at that. Houston Texans. Let's see. Houston Texans. I don't quite remember what happened to them. I think they lost to the Colts, I think, but I don't remember. Tennessee Titans. They made it to the playoffs last year, I believe. And then the last team, I believe that's it. We should have 16 teams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay. It tells me that there are 16. All right. So we have our 16 teams. And for the NFC, we can just select all of the teams and we can just add them because we know that the rest of them are going to belong to the NFC. So, you don't have to do all of the hard work, all right? So we see these are the AFC teams and these are the NFC teams. And we click the OK button and voila, you have your conference. Okay? So next we are going to add our divisions. So we are going to click the three ellipses again. We are going to create this new category and we are going to call this division. Okay, you see how easy that was? We didn't have to write any code. All right, so we are going to start with the AFC North. Click the plus button, AFC South. Plus button, AFC East. Then AFC West. Click the plus button again, and then we are going to create the NFC North, NFC South, NFC East, and NFC West. All right, okay, so we are creating the division. This is looking beautiful. Let's see, group remaining teams. Yes, if there are any other teams that do not fall into any of these categories, let's just delete it. So we are going to put delete there, and we don't want to replace the offensive team. We want to create a whole new column. Okay, so let's begin. Which teams make up the AFC East? Buffalo, Miami. So Buffalo, the Bills, they had a rough time last year. Goodness, it was pretty bad. In fact, they've had a lot of rough years. Same with Miami. Miami has been struggling. Obviously, you know that I love football. I can talk about football for days. So, you know, it's going to take a bit of time for me to complete this. So I'm just going to talk through it so that you don't fall asleep. New York Jets, they have a new quarterback, Gary Vaynerchuk's team. And then the greatest of all time, New England Patriots. I love the Patriots. AFC North. So the AFC North is made up of the Bengals, the Ravens, the Pittsburgh, and the Cleveland Browns. So let's start by adding the Cincinnati Bengals. That is fine. I like the Bengals. They have AJ Green, you know, the Georgia Bulldog. So if a Georgia Bulldog plays on a team, usually I like that team, except the Steelers. Anyway, so moving right along, let's see. So AFC North, Cincinnati. All right, and then which else? Which other team? Okay, so Baltimore Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers. Where are the Steelers? Then I'm missing the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are going to do well this year. I can feel it. AFC South. So AFC South is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the Jaguars a lot. They've not done so well lately. They have a very good defense, but that is about it. Now Indiana Colts. Yep, Indiana. I'm indifferent to Indiana. Houston. I'm indifferent to Houston as well. And then the last team is Tennessee Titans. Eddie George. Yes, the golden age of the NFL when Eddie George used to punish my Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a rough time. So AFC West, let's see. AFC West, Denver Broncos. Let's look at the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, very good. And then let's see who else. The LA Chargers. LA Chargers, very good. And then the Oakland Raiders. Hopefully I don't make any mistakes, but if we make a mistake, I'll show you guys how to correct it. So hopefully I make a mistake so that you can learn how to correct it in case you have any mistakes. You can obviously just select it and remove it if you wish, but I'm going to show you something interesting when we are done because code is being written behind the scenes. So I'll show you the code so that you can go in and edit the code if you wish. All right, so the last team, Denver, LA, Kansas City. Yes, the troublemakers. Kansas City. If you're going to be playing Madden this year, Kansas City is going to dominate. So it's going to be a fun year. All right, so NFC East. NFC East is made up of Dallas. No one likes the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, so we add the Dallas. Not a fan per se. The Redskins. The Redskins are interesting. I don't have any problem with the Redskins. Philly. Now, I really don't like the Eagles, but I respect the Eagles, okay? So Philadelphia, Philly, I respect Philly. They are going to have a good year. I didn't like it when they beat the Patriots, but where is Philly? PHI. Where is Philly? Philadelphia, PHI. Did I make a mistake? Because I don't see Philly. Yes, I think I made a mistake. I may have added Philadelphia to another team. So let's go and see if I added Philadelphia to another team. Oh yes, I did add Philadelphia by mistake to AFC North. Alright, so I intended to add the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I added Philly. Okay, so let's go and remove the Eagles. Let's go back to the NFC East, and then we are going to add Philadelphia. See, so that is beautiful. I know some of you saw my mistake, and that's the beauty part. You can fix your mistakes. New York Giants, they need a new quarterback. I'm going to leave it at that. NFC North. So the NFC North is made up of the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. I like them because of Matthew Stafford. Go Dogs. Green Bay Packers. I respect the Green Bay Packers. Minnesota Vikings. They had a rough year last year. NFC South. Oh, this is a fascinating division. Always a lot of fun. My Falcons, no comments. I'm not going to make any comments about the Falcons. Tampa Bay Bucks, they've had a rough time, I have to say. New Orleans, I like New Orleans. I like teams that pass the ball. So New Orleans, I really like teams that pass the ball, and I like the Saints. It's really unfortunate what happened to them last year. Carolina Panthers, I'll just leave it at that. The NFC West is made up of Arizona, LA, Seattle, and San Francisco. Yes, I have the right teams. So here again, I can just select all of the teams. I have it right. NFC West is made up of Arizona, the LA Rams with the best running back in the league. I don't care what anyone says. Seattle, I really like Seattle. I respect Seattle. And then the San Francisco 49ers, Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to leave that alone as well. Okay, so we are done. Division. This is good. We are done. So we click OK. All right, so we have one more to go. We need to actually create the names for each of the different teams. So let's do that next. We are going to click the ellipsis. We are not going to write any code. We are going to click Create Data Group. And here we are going to call this Offense Team. So Offense Team, but into bracket, I'm going to put names, because I want to see the actual names. For those of you who have been confused by everything that I'm talking about, the Americans know what I'm talking about, but ARI is actually the Arizona Cardinals. This is the name of the state. So ARI is the Cardinals, and now we are going to actually add that to the code so that you can actually see the Cardinals when you create a dashboard. So it's pretty straightforward as well. First, we are going to add the teams. I prefer to type it all out first. So the Cardinals, the Falcons, Panthers. Be careful here, guys. You don't want to make a mistake here, and also you don't want to go too fast. Bears, the Chicago Bears, the Bengals, the Browns, Baker Mayfield, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Lions, the Packers, the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, the Rams, the LA Chargers, the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins, but they are difficult to really love. The Vikings, the Vikings, the Patriots, the great Patriots, the best team in the history of football. The Saints, yep, I like the Saints as well. The Giants, the Jets, Gary Vaynerchuk's team. I root for the Jets now because of Gary Vaynerchuk. The Raiders are going to have a rough year next year. The Eagles, yes, the Eagles, they are troublemakers. I respect them. They keep the league fun. And the Steelers, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Bucks, the Buccaneers, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans have not been the same since Eddie George and McNair. The Redskins, and I believe we have all of the teams. All right, you see 32. We have all the 32 teams. Okay, so now this is the fun part. We are going to assign each of the teams to the state, okay? So for 49ers, let's just go one by one. We know it's San Francisco. So I'm going to just select San Francisco. I'm going to assign it to the 49ers. The Bears, I know the Bears is Chicago. The Bengals is Cincinnati. The Buffalo Bills is BUF, Buffalo. The Broncos, Denver. The Browns, the Cleveland Browns. The Bucks is Tampa Bay. Cardinals, the Cardinals, Arizona. The Chargers is LAC, very good. The Chiefs, Kansas City. The Colts, Indiana. The Dallas Cowboys, America's so-called favorite team. The Dolphins, let's see, the Dolphins, Miami. The Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles. The ATL Falcons, Atlanta. The Giants, the New York Giants. Jacksonville Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jets, Jets, just Vinny Testaverde. Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. The Panthers. Because of LSU, I don't really like the Panthers. It's a long story, guys. Okay, so Panthers is Carolina. The Patriots. The Patriots is New England, the great New England Patriots, Bill Belichick. The Raiders, let's see. The Raiders is Oakland. Oakland is also a very fun city. I would love to live on the West Coast. The Rams. So the Rams, LA, definitely, like I said. The Ravens, Baltimore. The Redskins, Washington. The Saints, New Orleans. The Seahawks, Seattle. The Steelers, the Titans, Houston. No, Tennessee is Houston. No, the Texans are Houston. Tennessee is the Titans. And then the Vikings, Minnesota. Okay? So group remaining, we are going to delete it again. Just anything that's remaining, delete it. And we are not going to replace anything. So this is fine. This is fine. We are looking good. We are going to click OK. Now we have to save our data module. We don't want to lose all our work. And let's move the teams. First, let's move row ID all the way to the top. And let's move the offense team names under the offense team. Let's save our work and let's try it. Let's try our work to see if everything is looking good. Okay, so now we can actually look at our data in the context of conference. I can look at all of the yards between each of the two different teams. This is fantastic. Now you see this delete, we are going to get rid of it because it's just garbage. We don't need this. You see, now we're able to look at the data in the context of the conferences. We can look at it in the context of the divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. And then we also have the team names. So the reason you do this is now you can group, and then you can total. Isn't that brilliant? You can total it, and now you can look at your totals in the context of each of the different divisions, right? That's the importance of having the power to be able to season your data as a Cognos developer. This is very, very powerful, right? You don't have to depend on anyone. You can do your own thing. Remember what I told you, what I was going to show you. You see divisions. When I click on division and I go to view edit, this is what we just did. We could have written out this long statement, but I decided to save you guys the headache of writing this out. You know, the same thing that we did before using a drag and drop. Essentially, we could have written it out like this, and you know, we can validate it and we can take a look at it. And you see that the same thing that we created, you know, we just assigned each of the different teams to the division. Okay, so save your work, and this completes this section of the chapter. We are going to create this dashboard next amongst other amazing dashboards. All right, thank you very much.